In this chapter, Cicero's talking about the paradoxical, multifaceted nature of Catiline, and it kind of swells to a crescendo. He's been saying that there flourished in him the pursuits of military matters, but also there burned the vices of lust among him. And this is going to continue that theme. Quis clarioribus viris quodam tempore iucundior, quis turpioribus conjunctior. Who was more joyful, more pleasant, delightful to the very famous, very well-known men? That ioribus, the comparative is being used just as an intensifier, to the very well-known men at a certain time, who at a certain time, like when people didn't know what he was more delightful to the very well-known men, and who was more agreeable to the very disgraceful men. Quis civis meliorum partium aliquando, quis taetrio hostis qui civitati. Which citizen was sometimes of a better political party, or of better parts, literally, but I think that it should be of a better political party. So who seems to have belonged to a better political party at some time, and which citizen was more hostile, more foul and loathsome? Which citizen was more loathsome as an enemy to this city? Quis in voluptatibus inquinatior, quis in laboribus patientior. That is, who in his pleasures was more depraved? Who was more depraved in his wants? And who was more patient in his labors? Quis in rapacitate avarior, quis in largitione effusior. Who in his greed was more greedy? Who was more greedy in his who was more covetous in his greed? Who was more generous in his generosity? I was trying to remember words that are different in English. Who was more lavish in his generosity? Illa vero judices in illumine admirabilia fuerunt. Illa agrees with admirabilia. Those, there had been, well, actually not had been, that is perfect tense. There were those admirable qualities, or you could say those were the admirable qualities in that man. Indeed, O judges. Indeed, O judges, those were the remarkable, marvelous, strange, extraordinary qualities in that man. That admirabilia has the double meaning of something that you would admire and something that you would kind of recoil from because it's so outlandish. Those were the remarkable qualities in him. Comprehendere multos amicitia, tueri obsequio. Two, and these infinities are explaining what the admirable qualities or weird, extraordinary qualities were. That he seized many people with his friendship, and then he kept them with his devotion or his allegiance. Cum omnibus communicare quod habebat, servire temporibus suorum omnium pecunia gratia labore corporis, scedere etiam si opus esset, et audacia. There we go. It's slowly, the tone shifts from the admirable to the deplorable. His part of his admirable quality was that he shared with everyone what he had, that he served, that he was a servant to them in the times of need. There's no word for of need, but in certain times, like times of need of his friends. In his friends' time of need, he served them, and the omnium is all of his friends. In all of his friends' times of need, He served them with his money, his favor, the labor of his body, also with his wickedness, so his criminal activity, if there was need, and his boldness, his rashness, his ability to be reckless. Versare suam naturam et regere ad tempus arcuc et illuc torque ac flectere. Ooh, this one. His ability to, like, part of his admirable qualities is that he changed his nature. He changes his nature and he bends, he directs it. Regere is used for turning the rudder of a ship to the time. He suits it to the time and he twists and bends it both here and there. He twists it this way, bends it that way. Cum tristibus severe, cum remissis iucunde, cum senibus graviter, cum juventute comiter, cum facinerosis audaciter, cum libidinosis luxuriose vivere. The vivere is the last infinitive, that it was an admirable quality that he lived solemnly, severe, severely, with the tristibus, with the people who were sad, that he lived joyously with those who were relaxed, remiss, loose, that he lived seriously with the elders, people who were senexes, old men, and he lived politely or charmingly with the youth, that he lived boldly with the wicked, the people who would do crimes, and he lived luxuriantly, indulgently with the lustful.